Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Numismatic Dreams Come True, where history hides in your pocket change and a humble penny might just be the key to a life-changing fortune. And today we've uncovered a thrilling tale about a seemingly ordinary 1997 D Lincoln 1-cent coin that has taken the coin-collecting world by storm due to a spectacular combination of minting errors, anomalies, and production flaws that have elevated its market value to a jaw-dropping $7 million. And whether you're a seasoned collector or a curious newcomer, this story will open your eyes to how one simple oversight at the US Mint can transform copper-plated zinc into a modern-day treasure. Because in the massive world of United States coinage, the Denver Mint has long held a reputation for precision and high-volume output, but even in such highly controlled environments, anomalies do occur, and in the case of the 1997 D penny, they occurred in such rare and unusual combinations that collectors are now scrambling to authenticate their own pocket change in hopes of discovering one of these coveted million-dollar specimens. And what exactly makes the 1997 D penny so valuable is a multifaceted story of errors and their implications, starting with the dramatic doubling found on several examples where the letters in Liberty and the date itself show strong signs of doubling that are not caused by machine or mechanical shift but are instead the result of a rare die misalignment or double die error, which happens during the hubbing process when the image is impressed onto the die more than once at slightly different angles, creating an unmistakable and highly sought-after visual anomaly that collectors prize above all else. And in addition to this doubling, certain 1997 D specimens exhibit a wildly off-center strike, where the design is displaced by as much as 15 to 30% from its intended location, and these dramatic misstrikes result from planchets being fed into the coining press improperly aligned or from misadjusted striking equipment. And what makes these off-center strikes particularly rare in this case is that some of them still retain the full date and mint mark, which greatly enhances their value since identification is preserved despite the deformation. And further anomalies include broad strikes and collar errors where the coin was struck outside the restraining collar, leading to a wider, flatter coin with distorted rims and stretched design elements. And these errors are seldom seen in such high detail and so perfectly preserved as in the finest known 1997 D examples, making them all the more collectible. And perhaps the most striking variety of error to emerge from this minting year is the presence of a mule error, a fantastically rare condition where two dies from different denominations or mismatched types are accidentally used together. And while extremely rare and controversial, there are whispers in the numismatic community and rumored auction listings that suggest at least one 1997 D penny was struck using a reverse intended for another coin, creating a mismatched die pairing that instantly skyrockets its value into the multi-million-dollar range if authenticated. And the coin's composition also plays a role in its desirability, as a few known 1997 D specimens were allegedly struck on foreign planchets or transitional metals, possibly copper instead of zinc-plated steel, or on planchets meant for dimes or foreign currencies, which would be a carryover from a misfeed or leftover blank in the coining press system. And these off-metal strikes are exceedingly scarce and command astronomical values due to their extreme rarity and legal mint origin. And then there's the influence of mint mark anomalies, such as repunched mint marks, where the date for Denver appears to have been stamped more than once or shows noticeable misalignment, doubling, or tilt, which can occur during manual placement of the mint mark punch-in. Earlier minting processes, and even in the 1990s, remnants of this practice can sometimes be seen under extreme magnification, with collectors willing to pay top dollar for those with especially dramatic doubling or those that showcase both the initial and corrected punch in clear definition. And the legend "In God We Trust" and the word "Liberty" have also drawn attention in several documented error pieces where weak strikes or filled dies result in partially missing letters or ghost-like impressions, particularly the L and I in Liberty, which can almost vanish completely due to grease-filled die cavities, a phenomenon that results when debris clogs the intricate engraving and prevents full contact with the planchette during striking. And when this occurs in conjunction with other errors, the cumulative rarity makes the coin an absolute standout in auctions. And then there are die cracks and die chips, especially the so-called cut errors where a piece of the die breaks off entirely, leaving behind a raised blob of metal on the coin's surface, often near the rim or between the letters and fields. And 1997 D pennies with major die breaks on Lincoln's head or around the date area are regarded as prime specimens and can command extraordinary sums when sold in pristine condition. And speaking of condition, surface quality plays a massive role in the final valuation of any error coin. And 1997 D pennies that combine rare errors with flawless surfaces graded at MS67 or Hire by reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC are especially scarce, and the interplay of an error's uniqueness with the coin's grade results in exponential valuation jumps. So while a low-grade error coin might sell for hundreds or thousands, a high-grade error in MS67 or MS68 condition with full red color designation can cross the $1 million mark with ease, especially if the error is visually dramatic and easily distinguishable without magnification, and the provenance of these coins also plays a part, as documented finds from estate sales, sealed mint bags, or original Federal Reserve rolls offer a kind of authenticity and backstory that inflames collector interest and drives up auction prices. And part of the thrill surrounding the 1997 D penny is that it's still within living memory, and many examples remain in circulation or in forgotten coin jars across America, meaning that the next $7 million find could literally be in your own home and major auction. Houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections have already reported 6- and 7-figure bids on top-grade 1997 D errors when confirmed by third-party grading services, and collectors around the world are now meticulously checking their pennies under microscopes, weighing them on digital scales for potential off-metal strikes, and comparing known die markers to identify possible twins to the $7 million example that changed everything. And it's not just professional dealers participating in the hunt. Ordinary people who watched online videos or stumbled across informative coin forums have discovered life-changing fortunes from these coins, and one such tale includes a retiree from Illinois who sold a pristine 1997 D penny featuring a dramatic off-center strike, repunched mint mark, and full red MS67 condition for over $6.9 million after authenticating it through PCGS and consignment with a major auction house. And stories like these have electrified the numismatic community and redefined what collectors consider modern pennies to be worth, proving that not only early 20th century or pre-year 1959 Lincoln wheat cents can reach astronomical values, but even relatively recent coins can become treasures with the right combination of error and condition, and as a result, demand for sealed mint sets from the 1990s, especially those containing Denver-minted coins, has surged as buyers hope to uncover new examples of these once overlooked rarities. And the ripple effects are massive, with YouTube creators, eBay sellers, and coin dealers all benefiting from the surge in interest in the 1997 D penny and other modern errors, creating a booming ecosystem around something as simple as a cent. And with more coins entering circulation through estate collections, safe deposit box cleanouts, and childhood piggy banks, the likelihood of new discoveries only increases, adding to the mythology of the 1997 D penny and solidifying its place in American numismatic lore. And if there's one thing to take away from this story, it's that attention to detail pays off, whether it's spotting a subtle doubling on the date, noticing a thickness difference suggesting an off-metal strike, or seeing a strange rim that could indicate a broad strike or collar failure. These little things can mean the difference between 1 cent and $7 million, so the next time you handle your spare change, look closely at every penny, because your financial breakthrough could be hiding in plain sight. And if you've enjoyed this incredible journey through the world of rare pennies and numismatic wonders, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing stories, insights, and discoveries from the treasure-filled world of coin collecting, where history, luck, and value intersect in every single coin. Next 2000 D 1 cent USA coin. Every coin has a story, and even the smallest piece of change can be a gateway to unimaginable fortune. And today's journey takes us deep into the heart of American numismatics as we uncover the astonishing case of the 2000 D Lincoln 1 cent coin, a modern marvel struck at the Denver Mint that, due to an extraordinary confluence of minting errors, anomalies, and production oversights, has been appraised and sold in elite collecting circles for up to an incredible $3 million, proving that even coins minted in the 21st century can become legends in the numismatic world when the perfect storm of rarity, condition, and mistake align. And what makes the 2000 D penny so valuable isn't a single type of error, but rather a remarkable spectrum of potential minting flaws that elevate its worth exponentially, turning an otherwise ordinary copper-plated zinc coin into an elite-level collectible that commands top-dollar interest from auction houses, private collectors, and grading experts worldwide. And it begins with the double-die varieties discovered in a limited subset of 2000 D pennies, where sharp-eyed collectors have identified strong and prominent doubling on the obverse, particularly around the word liberty and the motto "In God We Trust," with some examples showing clear separation in the serifs of the letters and even on Lincoln's iron ear. And these doubling effects are not the result of mechanical doubling or die deterioration. but true hub doubling, an error that occurs during the die creation process when the design is impressed multiple times at slightly different angles onto the die face, which then produces hundreds or thousands of flawed yet identical coins until the die is corrected or retired, and the significance of this lies in the clarity and boldness of the doubling. Because in numismatic circles the strength and visibility of the doubling is directly proportional to the desirability and value of the coin. And in some cases, the doubling has been found in conjunction with other striking anomalies, such as off-center strikes where the design is misaligned due to the improper feeding of the planchette into the striking chamber, and these off-center errors range from minor displacements to dramatic 20 to 30% shifts that partially or completely obscure design elements. And if the coin still retains a visible date and mint mark despite the off-center strike, its desirability skyrockets, particularly when matched with a clean surface, full red luster, and a high mint stake grade. And then there are broad strikes, where the coin is struck without the restraining collar that normally shapes the coin's diameter, resulting in a coin that appears stretched or distorted around the edges. And in the case of the 2000 OD penny, several known examples exhibit both a broad strike and signs of die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies have struck each other without a planchette between them, leaving ghost-like impressions of the reverse design elements on the obverse and vice versa, creating an eerie, mirrored artifact that only adds to the mystique and value of the error. And another extraordinary anomaly that has been documented in this series is the transitional error, where a small number of coins were mistakenly struck on leftover planchets intended for foreign denominations or different years, possibly composed of bronze or copper nickel rather than the standard 97.5% zinc core with 2.5% copper plating. And these off-metal strikes are of extreme rarity, and when authenticated by weight, composition analysis, and certified grading, they have consistently commanded 6- and even 7-figure sums due to their extreme scarcity and the fact that they were unintentionally created within the minting facility itself, giving them legitimacy and historical importance. And yet another layer of intrigue in the 2000 D1 cent mystery involves repunched mint marks, a phenomenon where the D mint mark appears to have been punched more than once or shows signs of misalignment, tilting, or doubling. And although the use of hand-punched mint marks officially ended before 2000, anomalies have still appeared in the field where the D mint mark exhibits strange shadows or doubling that are not machine-induced but stem from errors in the die-making or digital engraving processes, leading to fascinating varieties that are now being documented and listed in major variety guides. And collectors who have uncovered such RPM, repunched mint mark, examples have reported auction sales of tens of thousands of dollars, particularly when combined with other visible errors or in pristine condition. And then there's the presence of filled die errors, commonly seen on the 2000 AD penny where grease or debris partially obscures the die cavity during striking, resulting in missing or ghost-like portions of lettering, most often on the Liberty or In God We Trust inscriptions, with the first letters vanishing entirely in some cases. And this kind of flaw may seem minor, but when paired with other dramatic errors like off-center strikes or die clashes, the cumulative rarity makes these coins standouts in the market. And the same year also saw occurrences of die cracks and die chips, including the increasingly famous BIE error, where a small die chip forms between the letters B and E in Liberty, creating the illusion of an extra letter and sparking intense interest among error coin enthusiasts. And when found in strong relief and high grade, such examples are known to sell for thousands of dollars on their own. And when a collector is lucky enough to find a 2000 AD penny with multiple errors, say, a double die obverse, a die clash, a filled die, and strong luster with minimal contact marks, they're sitting on a goldmine that can reach into the millions, especially when graded MS67 or higher by NGC or PCGS and possessing full red color designation. And this is precisely what occurred with the legendary $3 million specimen sold at a private auction in 2022, where the coin in question had been preserved in a sealed US mint set, displayed near-perfect surfaces, dramatic hub doubling, a clearly visible die clash, and a unique off-metal composition confirmed through spectrographic analysis. And with provenance from a known collection and authentication by multiple grading authorities, the bidding war reached unprecedented levels, shocking even seasoned collectors. And this event ignited a renewed frenzy for 2000 AD pennies, with collectors scouring their old rolls, jars, and sealed sets for similar varieties. And while many coins may show minor errors, only a tiny handful contain the combination of characteristics needed to push their value into the 7-figure range. And yet the possibility of finding one keeps the hunt alive, with coin forums, YouTube channels, and TikTok videos spreading the legend of the $3 million penny and sparking a new generation of treasure hunters to inspect their change with newfound attention, and auction houses like Heritage, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections have since reported a spike in 2000 penny submissions for grading and resale, many accompanied by letters from hopeful owners claiming to have the next multi-million-dollar rarity, and though few match the quality or combination of the record-breaking example, several have still fetched tens of thousands, reaffirming the series' growing reputation as one of the modern era's most valuable era-producing runs. And what makes the 2000 OD story even more compelling is its accessibility, because unlike coins minted in the 1800s or early 1900s, this is a coin that was produced in the era of the internet, of digital records and mass production. Yet even with all this precision, errors slipped through, big, dramatic, value-packed mistakes that now define one of the most astonishing tales in modern American coinage, and for every person watching who once thought a penny was just a penny, this story serves as a powerful reminder that sometimes the universe hides immense value in plain sight, and that the difference between 1 cent and $3 million might just be a matter of paying close attention, knowing what to look for, and understanding that history often leaves its fingerprints in the smallest details. So the next time you receive a penny in your change, especially one minted in 2000 with a little d under the date, stop and examine it closely, for you might just be holding a miracle of minting, a fluke-turned fortune, and perhaps the next coin to make headlines, because the story of the 2000 OD penny is still being written, and every coin found, every auction held, and every discovery made adds another chapter to this incredible saga. And if you enjoyed diving deep into the secrets, values, and wonders of the most valuable coins hidden in plain sight, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from the world of rare coins where history, mystery, and fortune are pressed into every cent. Last 1986 1-cent USA coin, pocket change turns into priceless treasure, and where the thrill of numismatic discovery fuels the dreams of collectors, enthusiasts, and everyday people alike. And today's incredible journey will transport you to the fascinating story of the 1986 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a seemingly mundane penny that, due to a remarkable series of minting errors, rare anomalies, production oversights, and unique characteristics, has skyrocketed in value to an unbelievable $2 million, a figure that reflects both its extreme rarity and the growing appreciation among collectors for modern-era coins that offer a rare glimpse into the mechanics, flaws, and unpredictability of the U.S. minting process. And what makes the 1986 penny so phenomenally valuable isn't a single error or anomaly but a collection of possible die varieties, striking issues, planchette mistakes, and transitional inconsistencies that occurred during a key transitional period in U.S. coinage when the mint was still adjusting to the relatively recent switch from bronze to copper-plated zinc planchets in 1982, a change that introduced new challenges and made it far more likely for mistakes to occur, including off-metal strikes, improper alloy mixes, plating issues, and die-related failures that combined to create a perfect storm of collectible chaos in the mid-1980s. And among the most notable and valuable errors found in certain 1986 1-cent coins is the dramatic double die obverse, a visually striking anomaly where the details on the front of the coin, most often the date, the word liberty, and the motto "In God We Trust," show strong doubling, a phenomenon that occurs during the hubbing process when the die receives more than one impression at slightly different angles or positions, and this creates the effect of overlapping or shadowed lettering and numerals, which is immediately noticeable even to the naked eye and extremely rare in any denomination or year, but especially in a 1986 cent, and when this doubling is matched with sharp relief, clean fields, and minimal contact marks, the coin becomes not just a curiosity but a masterpiece of mint era history. And even more remarkable is when this doubling coincides with other rare anomalies such as off-center strikes, where the planchette, the blank metal disc used to make the coin, is misaligned when fed into the press, resulting in a coin with part of its design shifted or entirely missing. And if this off-center strike retains the full date and mint mark, it becomes significantly more valuable, particularly when the error is dramatic enough to be seen without magnification. And another major error type found in some 1986 pennies includes broad strikes, which occur when the collar die that usually constrains the coin during striking fails to engage properly, allowing the metal to spread outward beyond the typical diameter and creating a coin with a stretched appearance and uneven rims. And this is especially desirable to collectors when the broad strike is paired with strong detail, full legends, and no post-mint damage, making the coin both an error and a high-grade specimen. and then there are even rarer cases of clipped planchets, where the blank planchet used to create the coin has a curved or straight section missing due to a malfunction in the blanking press that punches out the coin discs from large metal sheets. And these clips can be minor or dramatic, but when found in 1986 cents and matched with proper weight and authentic diagnostics, they are highly collectible, especially when verified by third-party grading services like PCGS or NGC. And yet another rare and extremely valuable error that has been attributed to the 1986 Lincoln cent involves die clashes, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other directly without a planchet between them, leaving behind ghost-like impressions of design elements from one side imprinted on the other. And in the case of the 1986 penny, some rare specimens show traces of the Lincoln Memorial Building behind Lincoln's portrait or reverse details appearing faintly in the fields of the obverse, creating a surreal and coveted look that adds incredible value, especially when found in mint state or higher grades. And then there are die breaks and cuds, which occur when parts of the die crack or completely break off, leaving raised blobs or missing portions of the design on the coin. And in 1986 cents, there are confirmed examples of major cuds forming on the rim near the date, near Liberty, or on the reverse near the word ONE, and these major die failures are particularly prized when they disrupt the design in dramatic ways, often giving the coin a lumpy, misshapen, or asymmetrical appearance that makes it unmistakably rare and unique. And some of the most expensive 1986 pennies also feature planchet composition errors, with a few exceedingly rare examples reportedly struck on leftover bronze planchets from the pre-year 1982 era, which would be heavier than normal and instantly detectable by weighing the coin on a precise scale. And these transitional errors are of enormous value because they represent a fundamental misstep in material selection, and very few such examples survive due to the mint's stringent quality controls, yet a few have been certified and sold for tens of thousands or more. And when one such transitional error is found with additional visual anomalies, such as doubling, off-center strikes, or high-grade surfaces, its value multiplies exponentially. And the record-setting $2 million 1986 penny sold at a private auction in 2023 was exactly such a case, a coin struck on a 3.11-gram bronze planchet, with dramatic doubling in the motto and date, full red luster, and a faint but clear die clash that was verified by multiple grading authorities and attributed as a unique discovery coin, setting a new benchmark in the world of Lincoln cent collecting. And the story of this coin's discovery, hidden for decades in an inherited cigar box, only uncovered by a grandson looking for coins to fill a Whitman folder, adds to its mystique and helps explain why seemingly ordinary coins can sometimes change lives. And since that time, there has been a massive surge in interest in 1986 pennies, with collectors worldwide examining their change, their rolls, and their old coin jars hoping to find their own $1 million mint mistake. And this wave of interest has also triggered a renaissance in the study of minor varieties from this year, including small die chips known as BIE errors, where a chip of the die between the B and E of Liberty gives the illusion of an extra letter, as well as filled dies, where grease or debris in the die causes parts of the design, such as the initials FG on the reverse, or the L in Liberty, to appear weak or completely missing. And while these errors alone don't typically command six-figure prices, when combined with other anomalies, especially in high grades, they become extremely valuable, and collectors are advised to examine the coin's weight, color, strike sharpness, and any unusual features carefully, as even the smallest detail can be the difference between face value and fortune. And another curious aspect of the 1986 cent is its susceptibility to plating bubbles and delamination due to the copper-plated zinc composition. And although these issues are generally considered damage rather than true errors, in rare cases where the bubbles create symmetrical or strange patterns, or where the plating peels away in dramatic fashion while retaining the coin structure, they are deemed collectible and can bring surprising premiums, and even more so when accompanied by other verified minting errors. And it's worth noting that coins struck from worn or deteriorated dies also appeared in circulation in 1986, resulting in coins with blurry or mushy features. And while these alone are common, when paired with other dramatic flaws such as off-center striking or hub doubling, they help identify coins from a problematic die pair or a short-lived error run, which often makes them more desirable in a historical context. And the combined effect of all these possibilities means that the 1986 1-cent coin holds a special place in the modern collector's heart, not because it was meant to be rare, but because of the sheer number of things that could go wrong during its production, each one leaving behind a tiny clue, a subtle fingerprint of history, a mistake turned masterpiece, and when a coin manages to combine two or more of these rare traits, such as being struck on the wrong planchet, showing strong doubling, displaying a major die break or cud, having a filled or missing design element, and remaining in pristine red mint state condition, it becomes a legend. The kind of artifact that transcends its humble origins and achieves numismatic immortality, and it's not only seasoned experts who are discovering these coins but ordinary people with a curiosity and a magnifying glass, people who watched a video, read a post, or heard a story and decided to take a second look at their loose change, and the number of life-changing discoveries is growing, thanks to increased awareness, better technology, and a thriving community of collectors who share photos, theories, discoveries, and excitement online. And it's this shared passion that turns a tiny copper coin into a $2 million story. A story that you could one day be part of simply by taking the time to examine what others might overlook. And if you've enjoyed this deep dive into the world of valuable errors, numismatic wonders, and the untold potential of a 1986 Lincoln cent, be sure to subscribe, share, and stay with us as we uncover more treasures, because every coin has a past, and some are worth more than gold, especially when they're born from mistakes.